Hi there, Beer Can Cold Nation. Today's episode is brought to you by Praxis. Everybody talks about the goal: more profit, more growth, more wins. But here's the reality. As average ticket prices climb, it's becoming more important than ever to stay organized and run real systems inside your business. Because the truth is this: the process is just as important as the goal. That's why we partnered with Praxis Software, built around one simple idea: the winning process made simple. From the owner all the way to the newest employee in your team, every business needs proven processes to build a winning culture. Praxis HVAC sales and pricing tool creates consistent pricing, improved product knowledge, and develop team members into confident professionals. And when your people are confident and your pricing is consistent, your business runs better, period. If you're ready to stop guessing and start running a real operation, call Marty and the guys at Praxis today at 678-680-5926. Again, that's 678-680-5926. Or visit them at praxisgroupinc.com. You can also find the direct link in the show notes. Praxis Software, because the process is just as important as the goal.
From the front lines of heating, cooling, and business, this is the Beer Can Cold Podcast, where the suction line is always beer can cold. Hosted by JG Van Gran and Will Merritt. Crack one open, turn it up, Bigfoot approved. Take it away, boys.
Sweat, boots on the mat, job board set, crawling in the crawl space, bread running hot, filter dust thick, gotta clear that cloud. It's that beer can cold, turn it till it bites, sweat on the floor, pressure in the lines tonight, yeah, beer can cold, grind it till it holds. Top hum, metal skin burns, 10-ton unit.
Well. There's all kinds of professionalism happening all around us. There's commercials and there's just good things. We're up in the game.
I'd say so.
I think so. I think we're getting better at this. But of course, we got to start every show by jamming out a little bit first. Yep. So, Will, Snowmageddon, are you alive, buddy?
Yeah, it's almost gone. I can still see a little snow. But, we got a little rain today, high 40s. So, yeah, we had the last big snow we had in the Charlotte area right around Valentine's Day 2014. I remember it. North side of town to the south side of town, and it got worse the further I got.
No, it's we were fortunate enough to have, yeah, I did. I'm on these still, Pepsis. I'm doing good though.
I'm just having one. So
I'm starting to fit into the camera a little bit better.
Yeah.
So no, we had the fortunate thing here where we had, we had ice, then a little bit of snow on top of the ice, and then then a little bit more ice, and so there was just a mess.
We had mainly so we woke up Saturday morning and ground was covered, not a lot, but driveway, it was cold enough. Driveways were covered, streets were covered, and it snowed from. I woke up 7:30, looked out, and then I went back to bed. I was like, I just want to see what was going on. And it snowed to about midnight, 1 a.m.
Okay.
So it was a lot of blowing going on. I did brave it and go out and grill. I didn't go charcoal. I cheated and went gas, but I did go out and grill Saturday night. And I've got an oil tank measuring stick from an old customer.
Yeah.
So I'm not just checking it from time to time. It was somewhere between 8 and 10 inches.
Goodness. Yeah. I think
It
we
was
had
nice.
about 3 inches. So
You
like
were
I
in that
said,
pocket. I looked at it. It was like a triangle. Like, and one of my other buddies I went to college with, who lives up in Raleigh, he's like, we got like a dome over us.
it
You know,
literally is called the Raleigh curse. There's a whole thing about everybody around us will get snow and we get
it's usually
nothing.
the Charlotte curse.
Yep.
We don't get like it'll go just above us or below us. I'm below Charlotte a little bit, but anyway, it's nice to see. We got out in it Sunday afternoon and did a little hiking through the woods. There's an airstrip behind our house. We walked all the way up, and I did not realize actually it goes all the way to another road that's like parallel to our street. There's a little gate there. That was
Oh,
kind
wow.
of cool.
Yeah, no, really. So we were together at Scult. That was kind of cool. I really enjoyed. Actually, really, I enjoy driving. So driving there, driving back was great. Good to see you guys there. And then we have a couple more engagements coming up. Yep. So we'll post those and start talking about those. I'm pretty excited about them. But then what we're trying to do is starting to build some theme here, right? Because we really are a podcast, a young podcast at that really are trying to bring our experience to business owners.
Yep.
And no, so technicians, don't turn off if you're listening. I get it. But you will get a perspective here from what it really kind of takes behind the scenes. So just for example, people don't realize some of the stuff that goes on in heating and air companies, but today was all spent in working through the bidding process on our health insurance and our benefits, and working back and forth with a big company versus a local company and all this stuff. And it's like, these are the things that we would like to start talking about a little bit more, give some help, give some best practices. And so what we're trying to build here in the month of February is the whole theme is like building value in your company and why you should do it, right? So we started off kind of with Marty and the maintenance agreement discussion, and we had some really good talks about that. And then today I'm hoping to kind of go through about 6 things that I found when I did a little bit of research, and just kind of talk with you a little bit about that and get your opinion. And then I think towards the end of the month, we're planning on 2 special guests, Marty and another person, if we can commit it. But then we'll put a bow around this on why it's important to build value, right?
Yeah. Okay.
No, I think, and it's like, we're not just building value to sell the company later, because some guys are doing that, and that's fine too.
That could be the end result,
Yeah.
wait the road could be nearer from others, but building it for current employees and prospects and potential employees.
Right.
Yeah.
So the very first one here was actually the source of this was KMCO valuation creation strategies. So I don't know anything about them. This is just kind of what I found, but I found what they were saying here, and this being the number one thing actually to be true. Financial performance drives value. And so
Of course.
my thought about that is, well, we were both TMs for a long time. How many times did we show up to a customer at the end of the year? It's tough. He's asking us for, some guidance because he can't pay his bill. Could you guys please, work with me on terms or whatever that might look like? And then you go, okay, help me help you. Show me your P&L.
Mhm.
And I go, what's that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, do you have a bookkeeper? Well, no. Like, how do you know what you're spending on labor? How do you know what you grow? Well, I don't. There's either money in the bank or there's not. And
Yeah.
it's like, this, I think, is an important piece.
Yeah. It's kind of not funny, but just as our industry has evolved, it was, typically most companies started, person was an installer or service tech and said, hey, I'm not going to work for anybody any longer. I can do this. And they just dive into it. And before they know it, they work hard and they get big before they realize it. And then it's a lot of money moving around. And that's what we always used to say. There's a lot of money exchanging hands, but the owner's typically the company's keeping very little of it. The average profit margin for a heating and air conditioning company in our industry is like below 2%.
Yep.
Which is crazy. And then there's like the top 2% in the industry are making all the money. But you got to treat it. I think that's where our industry did start to shift as you started getting business people, either buying the businesses or coming in hiring the right people,
Well,
to build, measure all that stuff, and have a P&L, have financials, and know where you stand at any given time.
you're right. And, sometimes we say some bad things about uh, the equity companies that comes in. But you know what they did do? Is they told, because how many owners stayed on board, right? And these equity companies came in and taught these guys how to really run the financial piece of it. And now, kind of what I'm hearing is that there's a lot of guys buying their companies back after 5 years, and
Yeah.
they're much more successful.
Well, I think it's rampant in our business, and again, they're trying to run it like a business, and you have to.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know where it's all going to go.
no, I
We
agree.
can't have these humongous heat and air conditioning companies, and I think a lot of them are. I think at least some of them are being smart. It's like they're buying it and they're trying to keep everything as much as it was before they purchased it. Yeah, and hopefully the owner stays on for a little while, but trying to keep that local feel, locally owned. I think a lot of homeowners, they like that over, the really large companies. So
I agree. So if Will decides tomorrow that he's starting Will Merritt's Heating and Air, what's the first two people you hire?
Uh, well, you obviously need somebody that can run the office, so that probably be a jack of all trades, or whatever you want to call it. Then obviously, service tech installer.
Right.
But you got to run the business too. And when we talk about what's the most important person in the heat and air conditioning company, we always used to think the service tech, and I think it's more the frontline people, the CSRs, people that are fielding the calls initially. Yeah.
I don't know where I read it. I don't know where I read it, but they said that your service technical crew, that's fine. But one of the first people within the first year is an accountant, and the second person is a tax professional, because they're not one and the same. And you'll find out that accounting is pro you kind of running your business and so forth. And a lot of times, tax professionals, you need to find the right one. You need to find somebody that understands the HVAC industry, because not a lot of taxes are black and white, right? Like,
Sure.
you need to find somebody in your corner. And I'm not saying do tax evasion. That's not what I'm saying.
I don't
I'm
know.
saying make sure you get somebody that understands the trades when it comes to a tax professional,
And they got to be a forward-looking
Yes.
individual too, not someone that's just looking back and is reactive. They got to be proactive, going, okay, here's what we're doing. We got to make sure we're. Sorry, I'm trying to silence my phone here.
You're fine.
So they're looking ahead. So
Yeah.
it's not, it's in the year, and then, oh crap, well, okay, we have a lot of money.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. The second one here, this source is actually from Forbes Finance Council, and there was an article about increasing company value. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to interject one more thing about the business value and how it looks, on paper. Like if you do want to sell, so there's Patrick Lang from Business Modification Group was on our podcast a couple months back, and I saw one of his recent articles or quotes that was on LinkedIn, and it said, "Well, you're going to sell your business. Well, it's great that you paid no taxes for the last 5 years, but your EBITDA and your business valuation looks like crap.
Right.
So if you should have paid those taxes, and you would have gotten a lot more for your money." So I just want to interject that. So it's a balancing act, because a lot of small businesses try to do everything they can to limit tax liability, and that's great. But when it does come time to what's this thing really worth, then you're like, oh crap,
Right.
I'm
Now,
thinking we're not
you,
worth it.
you just used a big word there, EBITDA.
Yeah.
And I will stand up and say I didn't know what EBITDA was until I moved industries to the software company and then came back, because they
Yeah.
drive everything on EBITDA. So EBITDA is earnings before taxes and depreciations.
Yes. And I learned that years ago when I was in the foray of buying a contracting business. When I left distribution, I had a friend that he was a bank mergers and acquisitions guy, and he was Cuban, and so he would go to Latin America, South America, and stuff because he was fully fluent in Spanish. But he helped me go through it. He showed me a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what was hard was this company, the books were not good, and he was like, we're sitting at our kitchen table, and he's like, "Will, this is a mess."
And they all are.
that didn't happen, so it doesn't matter. It's a moot point now. But.
We had somebody contacted us about potentially looking at purchasing them, and the brothers were like, "Where's the books?" And the guy goes like, "Man, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's a mess." So
Yeah,
it turns people off. But
you
that,
can't have that because everybody thinks their business is worth more than it really is.
yep.
You know?
Well, but that EBITDA thing is something we started tracking as well, and
Mhm.
it's a good, valuable number to know because it even if you don't want to sell your company, to know what your EBITDA is showing the health and the strength of your company, and
Yeah,
I think that's very good.
sure.
So the second thing here was brought up by Forbes Financial Council, and it's an article they wrote about increasing value, and it says people and culture increase business value.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'll add our guy who I just mentioned, Patrick. He mentioned that on our podcast. He said when he's looking at buying, or I guess buying or selling the business, looking at them what they're worth, is there are a lot of people that can, are in charge of things, either or is the owner like the one that drives all the revenue. Yeah, like is that is JG going out selling all the jobs
Yeah,
and stuff? You pull JG out of the business, what do you really have?
that's right.
Having people that have assigned responsibilities for that, when you walk away they can still function. And then of course back to our piece we always talk about, comes into everyone, is culture.
Yeah. And to this point, I'm actually going to take a little bit of a different approach and say I'm not even looking at selling the company, but just so we have spoke about it several times, and I promise we will do an episode about what EOS is because I think it can fill up an hour and a half. But the entrepreneur's operating system is what we operate on, and one of the biggest foundational pieces of that is right person, right seat. And so you take, does when you look at somebody, you put them through a people analyzer, and you take your core values, and you ask, a plus, minus, or a minus. How do they stack up against those core values? And then the last three questions is: do they get it? Do they want it? Are they capable of doing it? And if you set a company baseline of for us, it's like 7 out of 10. I think if it hits 7 out of 10 or above, it's a fit for that seat. Everything is good. If it's 7 or below, it's either coach or move. And so the thing is, we have focused on our culture since we have started this podcast, and have been talking about culture a lot. And I think it increased the value of our company because, for example, our dispatch department, we completely kind of rebuilt. We fixed the culture in that group. That's a group of people that come along now. Now when people walk through my front door, they're smiles and they're waving, and it gives a vibe off. So anybody that were to come in and walk into our company, it's a little messy right now because we're trying to do some different things in warehouses, but you'll find friendly people that wants to be helpful. So this is not just for selling your company. I think it's for peace of mind wherever you go. Good people add a lot of value to your business. However, to a point that you just said, and I'm sorry, I talk a lot, I ramble, but finding out and building redundancy into every seat. Okay. Yes, you can have one amazingly great salesman, but make sure that the other guys that's selling with him gets coached and trained up the same he does, so that when the company changes hands or when something happens and that person leaves, you're not stuck.
Yep.
So I do think it's very valuable.
Yeah, I've always been a firm believer since I started in the business of cross training. Knowing how to do everything. I started the Ferguson trainee program, and so you did bills of lading, which I don't even know if you can do that anymore, for shipping and receiving, and
Yep.
you did a bunch of warehouse work, ran a forklift, and unloaded units, and then did parts stuff on the parts counter, warranty, inside sales, and so you knew kind of what the other person was doing, and
Yeah.
it created mutual respect too. But it's good, like, so somebody has to step in
It
and
builds
help
value.
out. Yeah,
Definitely
100%.
does. So the next one, we actually did an entire podcast on. So if you haven't heard it, please, and this is a good time to say, please go back and like and subscribe us. We're on all different kinds of platforms, and we'll talk a little bit more about that towards the end. But reoccurring revenue and customer agreements create stability.
Mm-hmm.
So in a lot of times, and this happened with us, it's like you have maintenance agreements, but we're just not, they're stuck. They're just not going, right? And so we, over December, decided to sit down with, the leaders in our group, and we tweaked and let it go. Sold 91 maintenance agreements in January.
Yeah. Well, everybody has to be on,
Yes.
the same page and understand the importance of it. And it's just, I don't know. Some people, they don't get it. They don't see the big picture, and it makes everything run better. It
Yes.
makes your company more valuable to sell. It creates, more stability in revenue, and you've got really reoccurring revenue every month, but really helps insulate the business when the weather is not there.
That's right.
It's so much, and it's like I always like the word or saying, it's every visit to a home, it's an opportunity.
Yes, no, I agree. And again, I'm going to throw it out there. For every 10 maintenances you're going to do or maintenance agreements you bring on board, you will have a change out.
Yeah.
So it is definitely worth it. But we'll get more into maintenances in our next episode again, because I think we're going to try to hammer it home one more time. The
Well,
next one, go ahead, sorry.
I'm going to throw the KPI. We've used different ones over the years, and the one I really like is 500 maintenance agreements per tech.
Yes.
So, and the math on that one breaks down to if it's a service tech's doing both true demand service and maintenance, you kick out 2 years, or excuse me, 2 years, 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have 50 weeks. So you have 500 maintenance agreements. You're doing 5-day work week, 2 service calls, 2 maintenance calls a day. So it equals up to 10 each week times 50 is 500.
Yeah.
500 service calls, 500 maintenance agreements. It's never going to work out like that, but that's your goal.
Yes.
And most companies are not, they're way off on that mark. Some are, but I've talked to so many people. This has been kind of a slow start to the year. It looks like the weather has gotten things moving.
Yes.
Now people are busy, but just some of the companies I've been speaking to, they've just said, yep, we're out running maintenance. Thank goodness we've got tons of maintenance customers. We're out. That's all they've been doing.
I'm going to interject something a little bit that's a little off topic here, but I did want to tell you about it. So we, coming out of like last week in January, I started picking up in our team, our leadership team, that there was a lot of disheartenment, a lot of like you said in a previous episode, it's like we forget what this industry does in January and February.
It's as Jeff Burrish,
Yep.
they have amnesia every year, and it's the same thing. It's after Christmas, and then if you don't have weather, and even if you do have weather, people are just like, whoa,
Yep.
yeah, I don't want to spend any money if I don't have to.
So our last leadership meeting on Thursday, I put a presentation together. There's something, not a lot of people know this about me, but there's something that really fascinates me, and it's shipping in the 17 and 1800s. I am a sucker for that, man. Anytime we go to DC or go to a harbor and there's a big old ship with cannons on it, I'm like a kid in a candy store, because it, to me, just fascinates me how those people did what they did back then. Starting, and you want to go from England, and you have family that moved to like South Africa, it's a 4-month voyage to go see them. Visit for a month, and then that's 4 months back. But the thing that I was using the analogy, so I put a PowerPoint up with like pictures of the old man of wars, that type of stuff. But there's something people don't know about anymore, because it's not really a factor anymore, is there's a section called the doldrums. So it's where the northern trade winds and the southern trade winds come together right on the equator. And there's a section that would just go still. So now you're on a ship that's only powered by air or wind, and all of a sudden it just stops. And so it could be a day, it could be 2 weeks, it could be a month, it could be longer. So you're just sitting there waiting, because the ships are too big to row. And there's actually stories in history where, the Dutch were like chasing pirates, and like the wind would stop blowing, and here's 2 ships just sitting there looking at each other, waiting. So what as a captain, do you do during that time? Well, you clean the ship. You because boredom in those days created people falling overboard and dying, right? And so what they did was, that's when they prepared for the wind to come. So my whole thing with the leadership team was like, listen, man, you're in the doldrums. January and February is the doldrums. What are we going to do now in this time to prepare for March, April that's coming? And all of a sudden kind of kickstart this, getting them excited about digging into the processes, which is the next point I'm trying to get to here. Is another thing that builds value in a company is processes.
Yeah.
SOPs. Like if you come look at my company and we're talking about my company value, and I hand you a binder and say, this is how we operate. If I leave, this is the SOP, this is how we operate. That's incredibly valuable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it's just like I want to carry it back to maintenance. Is every time you got to do a maintenance agreement, is it identical?
Yes.
I guarantee vast majority of the industry, it's like, here, go do. Yeah, we just hired you. Yeah, we'll show you a couple things. Go do maintenance.
Yeah.
Is it the same type of thing? Almost like, you come in. I know the little simple stuff. Put booties on. You knock on the door and you step back. And you ask to come in and simple stuff like that. But is the actual work being done the same way every time?
You use deodorant. You make sure you shaved. We've had to have these conversations, believe it or not. It's like, have you taken a shower? Like, you can't show up to someone's house reeking, right? So I'm serious. There's conversations that's had to be had, because it's all about that soft skill and soft touch training, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Here's the one that I think you can talk about in depth, and that's brand and reputation. The thing here says, this was First Citizens Bank actually put out valuation factors, and it says that brand and reputation are hidden assets.
Yep. So we talk a lot about that branding has, just say from a marketing standpoint, has been forgotten. Everybody went digital, which again, it's a big piece. You're going to use this stupid device to find everything these days or some form of it. But the branding of the company, who you are, what you stand for, what's your unique selling proposition, what makes your company different than anybody else, in the marketplace. That is been forgotten for the most part. But just a little tidbit here, like when we're looking at website traffic and stuff to websites, we look at, how much traffic is branded, like they're searching for Boer Brothers, and that's a fine line between you want people non-branded searches like heating repair near me, furnace repair near me type of thing, and between that and searching for you. And we want to see actually a little bit higher that branded traffic because people know you. Because like a lot of times what we find, and God, we talk about this all the time too. I feel like a broken record sometimes. It just rings true though, is the constant reacquiring your customer. And it rolls back into maintenance. If you're not on a maintenance customer agreement with them, just because you've been to their house multiple times, replaced the system, doesn't mean they're your customer.
Right.
Even if you're on a maintenance agreement, sometimes they're not. And we see it all the time. Existing customers clicking ads. Well, I can tell you this, the price of a branded click is way cheaper than a non-branded click that somebody's going after. And so it's just forgotten, but it's what we talk about. Like all of us, everyone out there listening, if you're listening to this, you're in this industry and you're probably like us, you live, eat, and breathe it. And the average consumer just doesn't care. They don't know. All they just know is it working, is it not working?
That's right.
Not, I got to get somebody out here. And they go to search and they, if they don't have a maintenance agreement with somebody and they're searching, they look at this and go, well, they got to see who comes. You got to be there first. And that's hard these days because it's all paid stuff when they go to search now before they get to organic stuff. And, they go and look and they go, I know Boer Brothers. They don't know why, but it's in their mind. Well, you're on billboards or you're on the radio, you're on television. They see your vehicles. They see job site signs, that type of thing. And so they click on you. And then of course, you got to give them what they're looking for. But that branding side of things is so big. You brand, what makes you different.
So talk a little bit. So Google reviews is a big thing. I think, in my opinion, I think it's a good thing. So although I know when I'm looking for something outside of my wheelhouse that I can work on and I go to Google reviews, I'm not looking for the guy with 5,000 5-star reviews. I'm actually looking for the guy with the 4.5 or 4, and then I go read his rebuttals. I go see, because we all know we're all in the service industry, right? That rebuttal is a big deal, right?
Yes. Google wants you to reply to everything. You got to, good and bad. But there's been many studies over the years showing that consumers trust more of a 4.6, 7, 8, 9 type thing than a 5.0.
Yeah.
And again, like you'll go read the 1 stars, or the what we've been taught is is you get a lot of 5-star and 1 stars, but to go in and read a 3-star, why did they go 2 or 3?
Yeah.
4 I can kind of get it. We did good, but you didn't knock my socks off, or it was good, but to someone to go in and do a 3. That's what I can't remember who taught. Maybe it was Bird Eye, or the reputation management company we use and review company. But they said, look at the 3s. That's one you want to concentrate on. You don't see many 3s in our industry. It's weird.
That's funny. All right, and then the last one here, and I think this is important as well, and this is for if you want to sell your company or if you don't, right? So Business Development Bank of Canada did an article and said strategy and growth planning add future value. And I think that is it, man. If you're not planning, you're going to fail. You have to plan.
Well, it's the whole thing, another cliche saying, what gets measured gets done. And so the old saying too, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
That's right.
And we have a goal this year. We probably should be more stringent on, how we're going to get there. But, we're coming from where we finished 2025, and we know here's our goal for 2026.
Yeah. With us, so I had my one-on-one today with our service manager, and we were talking about do we have enough people trained up, coached up for the summer. I have got guys that I've been burning and living the numbers, and they finally are getting there, and they're like, okay, this is our budget per month. Then they divide it into tech. They actually give the tech a stretch goal and what they can do. So we're having all these conversations, and I said, here's the deal, man. I said, you need to, because he's like, well, I might need another van. I said, stop. You need to write it up like a business plan. You need to sit down and go, okay, Q1, this is my gate. This is how many guys in the field. This is my plan to get these maintenance guys up trained to service techs. And then, Q2, this is what I'm going to have. This is what I'm going to need a van. And I said, here's the thing is you create those milestones like that, then you're not focusing on the entire goal to get to the end of the year or achieve your plan. You're eating that elephant a bite at a time. And what you'll quickly find out is end of Q2, you're on track, So that's a big thing.
You can see if all right, well, we're through February and we're off quite a bit. Okay, well, we need to reevaluate our plan.
That's right,
and go back and look at it. So,
and then things happen.
So it's heat and air. It's not it's a business,
right?
Treat it like a business. And
That's
some
right.
people, you can't charge that, whatever. No, you can. If you're giving good customer service, backing up what you're doing, the customer's happy. Why would who says you can't charge whatever?
Here's the other thing: plan your time off. You need time off. In the small businesses, the owner's like, I got to work 365. If I'm not here, listen, man, put a plan in place. Spend time with your wife. Be with your kids.
One of the coaching groups, they say you should be able to have like 6 weeks vacation a year as an HVAC owner. I bet a bunch of people went like spit their beer out. But that's what they say. You should be able to turn your company into something that you can be gone for 6 weeks out of the year.
Listen, man, I don't think
that's a month and a half.
I don't think the Europeans get a lot right. But the fact that they have pretty much 4-day work weeks and 2-hour naps in the middle of the day.
Whatever. But
I think they got it.
But I got one. This is really cool. Lynn Dallin that works with us. She sent me this afternoon that she thought would be good for an email blast, but it had like a little takeaway ending piece to it. And it says, I really like this. Marketing fills the funnel, but maintenance agreements build the future.
Oh, that's awesome.
I like that.
That's a t-shirt. I think that's a t-shirt.
I think that is a t-shirt. I got a cool one on here. Look, bacon is meat candy.
That's awesome.
I like that, but if you're listening out there on that and you don't understand that, think about it.
Right.
Maintenance agreements. It's just, again, it insulates your business, makes you more profitable, keeps your people busy. But the thing too, if you do want to sell eventually at some point, your company's worth a lot more.
I agree. Yeah. All right. So we'll keep this theme going into our guests at the end of the month, but we have a brand new segment in our podcast.
Oh, yeah,
Are
I don't
you,
do I know about this.
you do know about it. This is half yours.
Okay.
But there's, like everything we do, there's a soundtrack for this segment. So hold on.
Beer can cold news. Beer.
So we're trying to also pay a little bit of homage to bringing some knowledge in about what's going on in our industry, right? And do a little new segment everywhere. So Will, I think you said this week you got something you want to go over.
Oh, the generative AI.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's done. I really do enjoy writing, and it's just sometimes I'm so busy and I got way today, silence my phone, no television zone. So I'll have the radio on here in the background on News Talk. I'm listening. I'll have the news on. So, but no, it's kind of the new world of, it's talking about the 0-click world now. Like, no one's going to get to your website type of thing. And 51% of traffic are bots and stuff. So everybody in the world to some degree is like about their websites freaking out. So anyway, I got an article. It's pretty much done, but it's talking about, how is generative AI affecting, HVAC companies in 2026. And just to let you know what generative AI is, you go search something, go type into Google, and I cited this in my article too. Just an example was what does it mean when my heat's not working and my thermostat screen is blank, and gives you all these little answers in what's called a listicle. I'm not going to get into too many details on it, but just stay tuned for the article. It'll be in the ACHR news. But essentially what is happening now, Google, Gemini, even just the Google results itself, if you go type in something, it's pulling all this stuff into an AI overview. And so it'll pull in stuff from websites. So essentially, to market your website and get you to rank in that stuff, is you've got to put it in the format that they want it in. And that's honestly, it really makes common sense. It's almost like writing. They want to see, like, if you got an answer to what this person's searching for, they want a summary at the beginning of the answer, and then they want clear, almost like bullet points or numbers of here's clear, concise answers to their thing.
Yeah.
So I think for someone searching something like that, yes, they may not get to your website, but we're still seeing a lot of heavy website traffic. So I'm a consumer looking for a company to come fix my heating and air conditioning. I'm still going to go to their website.
Yeah.
To look. I'm going to probably, like you said, look at Google reviews, but I'm going to get there and look at their company because it's like their online store. They want to say they look professional. So, but yeah, it's kind of the new world that's been going on for a couple of years now, and it is having an impact. And it's you got to make sure you're just presenting yourself in the proper format in order to show now.
So we update on that for us. I'm not going to name names because it was actually, I don't believe, the product's issue. It was more on us and our customer base, but we started tracking CSAT and NPS scores. My daughter's actually working for us part-time, so she's on the phone doing customer surveys every day. And so we started tracking, and what we found was we went AI as a backup with the phone system and then with texting. And there's a funny story coming with this, but we have found out our customer base, and again, this is why I'm saying it's us, it wasn't the AI or the AI company. Our customer base is older and wealthier, just where we're located, and the AI did not go over well. And so we ended up actually staffing up on the dispatch department, getting that team back up to live answering.
That's huge too, if you can do it. And I heard this, I listened to a webinar the other day, probably for the company you might be talking about, you might have been using. I won't name names, but it was a great webinar. And it said they've tracked and studied that 40% of the calls come in after hours.
Yeah.
And I always say, well, I work from home. I'm a fortunate, I don't know if I'm fortunate or not, or crazy working at home, but vast majority of America is going out to somewhere, to an office, somewhere outside their home to work. So when do they get home after normal hours? When they find out their heat's broken or their AC's out?
Yeah.
6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Heat and air conditioning companies are closed.
Yeah, so
Some are.
we actually moved some stuff around to where we split our dispatchers up. If the dispatcher is on call, she goes home at 4 so that she's live at 5. We call it alive at 5, and then the other goes home, and then we're live on the phone until 9. And it's just our customers want to hear our voices.
9 o'clock is the bewitching hour.
Yes,
We track it. Calls drop off at 9 p.m.
that's right. And so it's not that it worked, but as we were making the decision, the hard decision to go away from it, we heard just a bust out laughing of a group of people in the dispatch department. Like, what the heck's going on? So I woke up there. I go, come here, come read this. And we think now that it was two bots talking to each other. We don't know, but this person started texting with our AI bot and was having apparently some love issues. And the boyfriend was breaking up, and then she just started texting. And of course, our AI was trained to be very polite. It's like, hey, this is such and such. How can I be of service? And it's like, oh, I'm so glad that I'm texting with a live person. My boyfriend just broke up with me. I don't know what to do. And the bot's just like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear about that. Do you have any issues with your heating and air conditioning system? And this person kept trying to get the conversation back on track. And they finally said, well, you're of no help. And the AI said, I'm so sorry about that. And it's it got disconnected. But I'm just saying that was the last kind of, thing right before we shut it all off. And we just went to live people again and again. I'm not saying it's bad. I know some of our friends that's contractors having great success with it. It's just our customer base is a little different.
I think it's customer base. And, again, it's the thing of statistic, 40% of the calls are coming after hours. And then they said, you better respond within 10 minutes.
Right. All right, buddy. So let's get close to wrapping this one up. We have more new music. I'll play a little bit of that. But as we do that, I just want to say that we're taking the podcast in a direction now where it's visual and audio, right? So visual will be Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. We're streaming to that normally probably Friday afternoons at 6. And then audio, though, drops as soon as I get this edited and put together, and that goes out to Apple, Podbean, Spotify, Amazon, iHeart, Player FM, Listen Notes, Podchaser, Boomplay. And if there's one that our audience likes to listen to, please send that to me. And then we release the shorts and onto TikTok. And so this is us just trying to get it out everywhere. But please, we ask that what would really be helpful for us, if you like our content, subscribe, that just help us drive this show forward to where we have some big plans. We want to do more and better things. We want to travel with the show a little bit. That really helps us build that customer base. And then I can buy Will another jacket. So
you know what? I can't believe I don't have it on. I wear it every day. Yeah. I got yelled at on our company called Monday about it.
We have somebody has a vinyl, a daughter that has a vinyl press, and then may or may not have got some vinyl and made some jackets.
It's very comfortable, and it's
That's awesome. Well, Will, buddy, thank you so much for a wonderful podcast, and then we will be back next week, guys.
Cheers, everyone.
Contracts on the table, margin sharp like a razor wire. Dialing dashboards, tracking metrics, turn that chaos into fire. The shadow lead with clear direction, build a team that's built to last. Let your playbook call the cadence, leave that broken, busted past. Stacking service into plans, strategy in every hand. Grow the profits, grow the crow. You're the boss of what you do. Come on, beer can cold, burning hot. Too loud voices say own your spot. Legends in the